Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a very exciting matchup between Gummibaer Grün and Food Please in the Farmers League group stage. And this is one of the most exciting matchups that we have because it's a real grudge match between those two players. They really want to dominate each other. They really want to win. And so I'm really hyped for what we're going to see in the series. And already Gummibaer Grün with the Eagle Scout is going forward. He's trying to get the sheep away from his opponent. And it looks like he has actually put in some training hours because it looks like it's not the first time that he is playing on this map. Because how else would he know to go forward right away? And the scouts meet right here. And Food Please also trying to get the sheep back. One of the sheep might actually die, but no, some scout fighting, some scout scuffle here is everything we're seeing here. And in the end, Food Please gets the sheep back, but Gummibaer still on the prowl with the Eagle Scout, getting some nice damage here on the Scout of Food Please. So very, very well done. And he also gets the sheep back. So what an aggression here by Gummibaer Grün. I like it a lot. He has practiced. He's like, okay, I play Haboob a lot. I know what to do. And so he's able to put some pressure on Food Please, which usually it's the other way around. Usually Food Please is actually the one putting on the pressure. And yeah, Food Please now bringing in the Rhino from the center, but he might lose a villager. What is this? Why did he bring in the second villager? That didn't make any sense at all. And at the same time, we see a lame attempt, a boar or a Rhino lame in this case by Gummibaer. He just needs to make sure that he's walking a little bit diagonally so that the Rhino always stays in the line of sight. But what a crazy play here by Gummibaer. It could be denied here, but no, it's not being denied. And the Rhino is being brought in by the Scout of Gummibaer. What an amazing play to behold here. However, what we have to say here is that the Rhino in the center was actually taken by Food Please. So the advantage is not that great, and at the same time, Food Please now coming in with his trademark villagers for some will fighting, and Gummibaer Grün loses his first villager, and Food Please could go on and wall in those two lumberjacks and be extra annoying here. But let's see what he will be going for. No, he's just walling in the woodline a little bit, which is super annoying typically. But at the same time, Gummibaer is ahead in terms of villagers. But that's of course to be expected because he is the Mayans. And the fact that Gummibaer went for Mayans clearly tells me that he has a prepared strategy here, probably prepared on Daddy Tuesday together with Splay Buzzer. And I would guess it's something to do with eagles, because why else would you go for a Meso civilization? And now we have some more laming potential here. Food Please now recognizing, saying, hey, did you lame my boar? And Gummibaer says, yes. The first ever successful boar lame that he probably did in a tournament game. But now his villager here might be in peril. And yes, Food Please is coming in and hitting that villager. Now also trying to wall it out. And we have a lot of early game aggression. And of course this map, which is Haboob by the way, is of course lends itself very well to this type of aggression. And in typical Food Please fashion, he falls a little bit behind in villagers, I think because he killed a villager of Gummibaer. And right now it's even, but Gummibaer is still ahead by one villager. So I think Food Please, sloppy early game as always, sloppy rhinoceros lure. Okay, I forgot that Food Please also lost a villager to the rhinoceros, so my bad. Yes, both players lost the villager, and so it's even, but now Gummibaer is ahead by two villagers, so it must be the case that Food Please is just a little bit sloppy. And typically that's also because he is going for some kind of laming in the back, and I think that's what he will do here. But the Eagle Scout is already waiting here, but Eagle Scout is weak, and so Food Please could just kill it with that villager, and that's exactly what he's doing. At the same time, his own scout is in peril, but Gummibaer is not attacking here, and probably rightfully so, because town centers don't hit anything these days. I think they should really change that, but I think the devs are more focused on implementing stupid auto everything things rather than fixing some basic things like pathing. or that town centers hit enemy units. Now more Vil fighting here, and also some laming of the ostrich, and of course in typical Food Please fashion he is just going for laming. But at the same time, look at this, look in the top left corner, no villagers queued, nothing queued. He does have loom, now finally re-queuing some villagers, but I think Food Please really needs to work on his macro ability if he wants to succeed in this tournament. I think that's his biggest downfall. I mean, he's very good with the micro, with the laming, with like going forward, being aggressive, but the macro is always slipping, and that always gives each player an opportunity to come back into the game, even if Food Please is ahead. And yeah, we see the same effect here. Gummibaer Grün, 3 villages ahead when it should only be 1 due to the Mayans pick. At the same time, Gummibaer now also going for some Food Please economy right over here. He's also going for barracks, so he maybe wants to go for a drush, or the drush is already here. I missed it, and the drush actually super effective, killing a villager. Nicely done there by Gummibaer Grün, and that only solidifies his villager lead, which is 5 villagers at this point. What is Food Please doing? He's like, ah, it's Gummibaer, I'm just gonna win. But no, not against the Gummibaer that is actually practicing on Daddy Tuesday, and the drush is super effective so far. But let's see the micromanagement of Gummibaer, which is not the greatest, as we know, and it still is not the greatest, losing all of the militia underneath the town center. And he got a villager kill. I think overall that's probably still worth it, given the fact also that Food Please is even falling further behind because he's just not queuing. His macro is just terrible. Now we see a second barracks here for Gummibaer Grün. I think he wants to go for mass eagles, but I think the barracks is a little bit too early, as Gummibaer is not even up to the fuel age. I mean, yeah, you can put it down on the way up, but I think you should get your other economy in order first, because now Gummibaer, only now he goes for gold, which is a little bit late. Also, he will run out of food at some point. He doesn't have any farms, he just has the berries. And, you know, the berries is probably not enough for sustained eagle production. At the same time, Food Please pushing in some zebras, having, of course, a few idols, as is customary for him. And he can now catch up a little bit in terms of village numbers, but that is just because Gummibaer is on the way to the next age. And I think Food Please, now he's coming in with the 2 militia drush, so this could actually be super annoying for Gummibaer, because his micromanagement, as we saw earlier, is kind of lacking a little bit, so he might actually lose another villager here. Let's see if that is the case. No, actually he doesn't lose a villager, and he's able to successfully fight back against this militia, although this villager might still go down. Let's go to the point of view of Gummibaer. The eagles are in the queue. The eagles will be out soon, but this militia is just so annoying, and Gummibaer is like, haha, the eagles are coming, I'm gonna kill you in fuel age with eagles. But at the same time, there's all these little pokes that Food Please is able to do with this militia, and let's see if this villager gets picked off. Probably not, because militias, let's be honest, they suck. One more hit, the hero militia will actually kill the villager. Nicely done there by Food Please. But now the eagle scouts are out, and eagle scouts can be quite menacing. And oh, this is actually a very nice accidental tactic here by Gummibaer Grün, making this kind of trap, and Food Please loses another villager. But what happened here is that the villager wanted to go for berries, and this was the only spot where the villager could go for berries, and she couldn't really escape from there once the eagles are there. And look at the damage that's being done here by Gummibaer on the villagers. Nicely done. Something we have to say here is that all the resources here have been lamed, but there is still a stone and a gold available for Gummibaer, so nothing that is really throwing off his game plan. And his game plan seems to be just spam eagles, and he must have practiced this. This is not something the old Gummibaer would have ever thought of, to just go for. I don't know if he has ever played with eagles in any case. Now he's trying to break in on the wood line, Of course, we know, we spectators, we're always smart. We know that the gold would be a juicy target, and also the stone miners here. But yeah, more and more eagles are coming out, and I'm surprised that he can still sustain production by just having the walled out berries here. Now he has 3 farms, but that just goes to show that eagles are quite affordable. They cost a lot of gold, yes, but other than that, they are actually quite affordable. And they have 50 HP and 4 attack, so they're not the strongest unit, but their 2 base pierce armor makes them quite resilient to the town center. And speaking of town center, we have this 1 eagle underneath the town center getting shot down in the end. Now we have forging coming in, making the eagles much stronger at picking off stray villagers here and there. More lame here by Food Please, so I take it back. There won't be any stone accessible to Gummibaer Grün, and that might hurt him in the long run. I think this laming villager, I don't know, I don't think Gummibaer notices this, but that's something that needs to be taken care of. And also, this is not great running underneath the town center, although he's lucky that the town centers don't hit anything, and if you don't hit your target, you actually only deal half damage to whatever you are hitting, and more damage to be dealt here by Gummibaer on the villagers of Food Please, killing another one, and there might be another one going down. Although that would require some micromanagement, which we don't quite see out of Gummibaer. That's really his downfall, whereas Food Please's downfall is the macro game. For Gummibaer, it's the micro game. But look at this, 8 villages ahead is Gummibaer Grün in this game. And what a performance! I did not expect this. I thought he was like, okay, he's rusty. But he's killing so much. So many villages are being lost here. Just a little bit of sloppiness here, losing 2 eagles for free. The eagles here are trying to break in, but it's underneath the tower, so that's also not very well advised. I think he should just scout around more and then also just build up the numbers here. But this eagle being annoying, coming back to the gold, might even kill another villager. Yes, 1 more village down, and suddenly it's 9 villages ahead for Gummibaer Grün. How can Food Please come back into this game? I'm pretty sure he will find a way, because that's typical Gummibaer game plan, is get ahead early and then lose it all in the middle to late game. But this is the strongest performance I have seen from him in a while. So this is quite crazy. But now we have the issue of the food running out, which we said would happen earlier. Also, the tower is now being garrisoned, so a lot of damage being dealt to these Eagle Warriors who have, or Eagle Scouts, who do have the +1 defense upgrade, so the town center only does 2 damage. At the same time, we have a tower here from Food Please, who is quite desperate, who now has to garrison everything in his town center, I think, or he might lose another village. No, he just garrisons in time and can now shoot the Eagle Scouts from Gummibaer, but they're much more resilient now, much more capable at fighting back against the town center. At the same time, Food Please, of course, he is the Saracens, so his bonus is the market, and so he just bought himself up to the next age with the stone miners here, and he's now in the castle age, and now it's getting tricky for Gummibaer. Yeah, he's now setting up his farming economy, but it might just be a little bit too late. If Food Please is able, also Food Please killing a lot of villagers here, really sloppy there by Gummibaer, who just lost 4 villages just like that. Still 6 villages ahead, but that's also castle age timing, and once the first knights are out, this becomes a completely different game, because then the knights can dominate against the eagles and also go for some raiding. Also, we still have a villager here, and that villager might just finish the wall, maybe plop down a siege workshop, or just be annoying with some towers here out of sight range. And yeah, the eagles, yes, they're strong against the town center, but the town center now is fletching, and you can see that the damage just adds up on the Eagle Warriors, and I think it's just too sloppy. It's just losing too much HP. Look at all of this damage on the Eagle Warriors, just making them weak. And if they're weak, if they have less HP, then they're just not as scary anymore. 17 HP, even a villager could fight that. Also here we have a random militia still in there. But Food Police will now produce the first knights. However, we have to say that the eagles are still great in number, so they could easily fight the knights. However, you have to what you have to know about eagles, and I don't know if Gummibaer knows this about the eagles, is that they become stronger once you reach castle age. So it's an automatic upgrade. You don't need to click anything. You just go up to castle age, and they get a lot more attack and also the bonus damage against cavalry. So I think they get that in the castle age as well. And so Gummibaer should just be a little bit more defensive now, just go back, try to raid a little bit, but he's just diving in and out underneath the town center, and he's just losing too much HP here underneath the town center of Food Police. It's just sloppy, and even though he had such a great pressure, he just lost a lot of resources here just by being a little bit too sloppy in his micromanagement. Also, now this knight is finally able to clear up all of these pesky scouts, eagle scouts and spearmen. Now we have some spearmen in the mix, but the spearmen just are not good enough against the knights, and suddenly we have almost even military numbers. Gummibaer still way ahead in terms of the economy, but he should just look at the floating of the gold. He needs a market, he needs to balance his economy, his wheelbarrow queue, he needs to go up, and I think his timing window is over. And I think Food Police will just come back into this game from here, because he is castle age and Gummibaer is not castle age. Gummibaer just spent a little bit too much, a little bit too long, was a little bit too sloppy, and I think now the damage has been thwarted on Food Police's villagers. He also shot down this tower here, which was not a great idea from Gummibaer. And I think now Food Police can just comfortably go forward and raid and attack, build a siege workshop. Of course, he tries to break in. Maybe there's a hole over here, and also now he can easily pick off all these stray eagle warriors, and now we have 5 military units against 5, and the knight is actually in, and that's so annoying. This knight can do so much damage, and we see the one-on-one. A few late eagle scout doesn't do anything against a knight, and even a spearman won't do much against a knight who is now able to freely raid the wood line. And yeah, the villagers try to kill the knight, but villagers do 1 damage to an unupgraded knight, so it's never worth it to fight knights with villagers unless the knight is really weak. And a lot of damage here being done by Food Police. Finally 2 spearmen will kill this pesky unit of Food Police in red. And we can look at the score. Food Police really now, yeah, just marching ahead. Gummibaer now on the way to the castle age, and but I think this is Food Police's game to lose now. Also going for a siege workshop here in the back, and this is what this sneaky villager can give him. And also we see the problem of the walled in stone, because Gummibaer really needs stone once he's in castle age. He needs a castle, he needs something to defend, and now the knights are coming in and he's just slaughtering more and more green units. It's just terrible. Although I have to say, there's this one militia over here battering down the tower. This might come back to hurt Food Police in the long run, but yeah, for now it's just a slaughter. It's just a really one-sided game. Now Food Police ahead in villagers. This was to be expected. Gummibaer just a little bit too sloppy, a little bit too slow, a little bit losing too much HP underneath the town center. Should have just realized that the damage was done and just go for the next age. Now the mangonel is here, and the mangonel can just assail the town center of Gummibaer Grün, and the town center is fully garrisoned. And whenever a town center is fully garrisoned, it's never a great sign. Also nice shot there by the mangonel of Food Police, who is now 10 villages ahead, 11 villages ahead even. Although now he will sloppily lose the mangonel, not before killing another villager. And now tell me, guys, how can Gummibaer come back into this game? Is there a way? I honestly don't think so, because while Food Police has a lot of idle economy typically, and he's fumbling a lot, he is not like Gummibaer throwing away such a big lead as he has right now. He has like 15 villagers advantage. And he has the knights on the field, has the siege workshop forward, and yes, there are some pikemen, and the pikemen will probably deal with the knights, and that's all well and fine. But at the same time, the economy is roaring for food, please. Still, the militia is still there, and instead of killing the militia, food, please was actually repairing the tower. So much stone damage, kind of like damage in terms of invested stone, has been dealt here by Gummibaer, by this single militia. Who is worth more than gold, I have to say. Now this tower war here doesn't amount to much, but Food Please has enough for a castle. Also, Gummibaer's baby is crying. That's his excuse, at least, why he couldn't fully focus in this game. But still, he is doing some nice raiding, killing another villager here on the farms. But now Food Please is coming forward to build a castle, and that castle will probably shoot down that tower, also threaten all of these buildings. Those are the production buildings here. They will get shot down by that castle, and then it's just gonna be really tough. However, we see Gummibaer expanding his eco. He knows he needs to get his economy rolling. And so he is going for another town center. At the same time, Food Please is taking into man-at-arms. That's interesting. I never see that with Saracens. What do they have? They actually do get gambesons. No, they probably only get what's the first thing? Oh no, he does have supplies, and they do get gambesons, so very nice. A lot of villages here committed on the castle. For my taste, it's way too much, but I think it's enough, because as you can see, the castle just slaughters the villagers of Gummibaer, who, even though he is now added the second town center, he struggles at keeping up the villager production. This militia, by the way, still hacking and hammering away at that watchtower. Food Please again, as is typical for him, nothing in the queue. Now finally some villagers and a monk in the queue. Probably from here he probably wants to go for a relic heist. Probably yes, he will get that relic in, and then maybe also get that relic. And now Gummibaer, he thinks about maybe going to the wood on the outside, because this wood is kind of denied and this wood line is kind of denied, so he needs to go somewhere while he still can. At the same time, Food Please going for more economy upgrades here. 3 barracks up for him, but no production, because his food economy is really not great. I mean, he has a few farms, but Food Please never wins games with food economy. That's the ironic thing about his name. He's like Food Please, but then his farming eco typically looks something like that, and he just buys all the food he needs with the market, and I think that's what he's doing in that game as well. Now finally he's also going for the berries, so that's nice for him that he still has the berry deposit here in the back that he can use. Gummibaer now also going for more farms, and I heard that auto farming has been introduced in that patch, but it doesn't look like Gummibaer knows that the farming placement can now be optimized. But maybe it's also only around mills. I'm not quite sure how it worked. Now I missed a little bit of a lame over here, and also a little bit of a raid here by eagles, but nothing too consequential in the long run. And now this castle, of course, prioritizing the houses instead of the military, well, instead of the market. I think the market would be more important to kill here than the house. But yeah, now we're just waiting for our players to do their next move. Gummibaer doing the right thing. He is catching up in terms of villagers. Now only 6 villages behind. He should go for a third TC probably to really accelerate that catching up. But now we have the long swordsman without any upgrades from Food Please, but he is getting squires. He is also getting the +1 defense. And that's one of the biggest problems of infantry, is that they just take so long to upgrade. So he already has 3 upgrades already, but it's just still such a bad unit, to be honest. I mean, they're good at one thing, and that is just clearing out these pesky houses and buildings. So that's one thing they're very good at, and also they have a strong attack bonus against Eagle Warriors, so that's why you want to go for Swordsman line against Mesosivs. Food Please also doesn't really make use of the automatic farm placement here, as we can see, otherwise we wouldn't have this big gap next to the mill, but I think that's just takes some time to get used to. Food Please still 5 villages ahead, but as I said, the gap has been reduced quite a bit. But what I would like to see from Gummibaer is just tech into a different unit. He's floating. Oh no, that's Food Please's point of view. Let's go to Gummibaer's point of view. He's still only going for Eagle Warriors. Also, he's heavily housed because of all these houses are being battered down. So actually, a nice move here by Food Please, just making sure that he's killing the houses. Now we have some stray eagles attacking the castle. That's just not gonna work. That's just, they don't do enough damage. And now we can see the swordsmen feast on the eagles here. And I think eagles just not the play anymore at this point. You're the Mayans, and the main bonus that the Mayans have is archers. They get much cheaper archers, and so I think the best way would be to just go for archers at this stage of the game. Now we have this single swordsman here coming in and attacking villages, killing one of them already, but we also have a nice raid over here by a stray eagle warrior, but that's getting dealt with by the swordsman, and this swordsman killing another villager, might be killing a third, and we will check on him periodically. More swordsmen here in the back, and Gummibaer just has nothing. He doesn't have any counter to the swordsman because the eagle warriors just are not good against them, and we don't. And now instead of going for archers, he's going for men-at-arms, and that's always a losing play because he also has to research all of the upgrades that Food Please already has. Food Please already having +1 defense, having squires, having supplies, and I'm not sure if the Mayans don't get supplies. Look at that, they don't get supplies. So just a terrible idea. I mean, yeah, the castle will help because then Gummibaer can do plumed archers. Plumed archers quite good against the swordsman line. But it's all just a little bit too late, and we can see this downward spiral that we have seen in so many games between those two players, where Gummibaer gets this early game advantage, but then he just doesn't do the transition. He just doesn't. He's like, okay, I've done enough damage, I've done more than enough, but it's just not enough, and he needs another transition. And look at all the idle economy here. I think that's just terrible. And here is the GG castle, the get out of my game castle that Food Please places down on the base of Gummibaer Grün. And yeah, Food Please can. I think the swordsman wasn't even the best play, although it was a very safe play against the eagle warriors. I think knights would have been just fine as well. Or monks in siege, good old monk in siege. But I think the swordsman, just a safe bet. He just needs more upgrades for them. He's now maybe going for some. He's now going for chainmail armor to make them more resilient against the town center that does not have any upgrades so far. And also for Gummibaer, he's now going for iron casting, but also making archers. But he doesn't have fletching. So I think instead of iron casting, it would have been much more important to go for fletching, because the plumes only have 5 base attack against the 3 pierce armor here for the long swordsman, and so the plumes without fletching, without bodkin arrow, just not very effective at all. Also, you see they don't even have the range to shoot at these 2 long swordsmen. And I think it's gonna be over for Gummibaer soon. We have 75 villages against 56 for Food Please, who's just happily not producing. Oh, that's Gummibaer. Gummibaer is not producing. Let's jump over to the point of view of Food Please, who is now, of course, on the way to the Imperial Age, as he so often manages to do, just be faster than his opponent. And he's just raiding and raiding and raiding, and yeah, he should probably just get all the upgrades for the swordsman line that he can get. And it looks like the Saracens get fully upgraded champions. That's very nice. And now finally the plumed archers deal with the swordsman, but yeah, as I said, no upgrades, and they're just standing in the wood line. And I think it's all over for Gummibaer at this point. We finally have a ram here trying to make way to the gold that is rightfully Gummibaer's, but it's all just too late. And I think once Imperial Age hits, I think Gummibaer should just quit. Now Food Please can even afford to go for techs such as ballistics, which kind of is a luxury at this point. It helps a lot with the castles and with town center fire. Now finally he remembers that there's Gambesons in the game. In my opinion, a completely stupid upgrade. It's just another upgrade that you need to get on top, and you only get it if you get supplies. So it's like a lot of civs don't even get it, and it just gives them another +1 pierce armor. So I say, why not just give the swordsman line +1 pierce armor from the get-go, and why do all this extra steps in between? But of course that's very effective against the plumed archers with 5 attack against 4 armor, now deal exactly 1 damage. So actually not a great choice to make archers against the swordsman if the swordsmen have all the upgrades that they have. Now Food Please in the Imperial Age, he can just go for whatever, now going for plate mail armor, going for chemistry, going for rams even, going for trebuchets, and I think it's just a matter of waiting until Gummibaer resigns. He's 3,000 score behind. Of course he's like, I can't believe that I lost this game, and honestly, even if it wasn't Gummibaer, I also wouldn't believe it, but Gummibaer does this all the time. He's ahead, he has a great opening, great strategy, but then he's just he's just too overconfident. He's like, okay, yeah, this is good enough. I'm winning this game, but winning a game takes more than just getting the early game advantage. And now Gummibaer trying to kill the mangonels, but won't do so, or killing the trebuchets with the mangonel, but won't do so. Now we have 2-handed swordsmen coming in, we have bombard cannons, here capped ram. It doesn't really make sense to go for capped ram, and if you can just go for bombard cannons, but hey, Food Please can just do whatever he wants. He can just have fun and just play out this game as he likes, and I for sure, as one, I for sure cannot blame him for wanting to do that. He now wants to make use of the cute little ram strategy here, so that's probably why he wants to go for capped ram. He's now going for iron casting. He has the 2-handed swordsman, monks, everything in the queue. Also he is besieging Gummibaer with bombard cannons and with trebuchets, and Gummibaer on the other hand is housed again, and this is the point where you must realize it's just not going to work out. It's 122 pop against 74, and we have the choo-choo siege ram train coming in against the plumed archers, who now do 2 damage per shot to the swordsman, but it should be more than that. And the rams, the capped rams, are coming in, and it's kind of a meme strategy here, to be honest, by Food Please, because why even go through all the trouble if you have trebuchets here? But the baby is happy to see that Food Please wins this one convincingly, although this clowning with the rams didn't really work out. But now the 2-handed swordsmen are on top of the plumed archers, and they can just slice them down. Yes, the plumed archers will kill them in the end. I think it's still not very cost effective here for Food Please to go against the plumed archers with the 2-handed swordsman, but it's just good enough. He can afford it. He can just run after the archers with his swordsman and just slowly push forward with the bomber cannons, with the trebuchets, and with the rams. Now Gummibaer finally on the way to the Imperial Age, but he has dropped to below 50 pop, and Gummibaer calls it GG, well played. And Food Please acknowledges the early game aggression and says good game, and good game indeed, I have to say. Nice early game aggression, and we will see it in the timeline. Gummibaer Green will kick himself. He was up by so much here early. Feudal Age, very nicely done. Not being too put too much on the back foot by Food Please's early aggression, and then the eagle spam was very effective. But I think this is the point where Gummibaer should have just stopped making eagles and instead should have just gone for his own Castle Age, because look at how late his Castle Age is. He lost his entire army here, and then it was just a downhill spiral from there, as per usual, with Food Please coming out as the victor. However, a very nice game won in the series, and I'm really hyped for the next one.